Why did I become a teacher? I thought as I got through my morning routine, standing in my small kitchenette and throwing meat and cheese on bread for the third time in the week. I found myself questioning things in my life. Not that anything was truly bad or anything. What did I have to complain about with, starving kids in other countries? In my country, in my own school district. I knew those kids. I taught them. This sandwich wasn't for me, same as the couple other brown bag lunches I had already packed on the counter. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different result. I muttered this under my breath. But who was I but one teacher? The clock over my stove chirped 6 a.m. at me and helped keep me on a normal pace. I poured my coffee into a travel mug and tossed the bagged meals into a small tote that I used to hold my lesson plan, graded tests from the week before, and various items I'd probably need. My drive to work was primarily my time to go over how the day should go, and the different paths that would probably happen with my kids being as rambunctious as they were. Spring was starting to peek through the water of melting snow, and I only needed to wait a few short more weeks. The sun seemed just a little warmer today, if you ignored the thermometer, and before long, the kids would be able to play outside again. Gods, they need to play outside again. Last week, a young girl straight murked a classmate by kicking him between the legs. I had them lined up so they could pick teams for dodgeball in the gym, and he had run off to grab something, and she bodied him. It wasn't until the teacher conference a few days later when we found out that her dad had told her, if any little boy gets out of line, to kick them right in the junk. Apparently, she didn't understand nuance. Funny. Still assault. Poor little guy is still hand-shy of her to this day. As I slowly traveled through town, partially because I was in no rush to get to the elementary school, but mostly because the guy in front of me thought that a 45-mile speed limit meant no more than 30 on a one-way road. Bring it back. Deep breaths. Okay. Yeah. The town. Gods, it was different now. I was the first male teacher in this podunk county about 2 decades ago, which I swear had a population that could be tracked by head count alone. While it wasn't a sprawling metropolis by any stretch, we did have a Chinese restaurant and a good Walmart. The simple things. I'd come to love this area, and there were at least a few people I'd say I loved too. I got to school at 7 a.m., which was late by school policy, but I had tenure, so fuck 'em. I showed up on time by my logic, and that's good enough. Buses hadn't started aligning yet to drop the kids off, which meant I had a couple minutes to situate. On my way to my classroom, I took a moment to appreciate the artboards. Our school's halls were adorned with encouraging and positive messages, reading reminders, and student art. I guess if it wasn't good enough to go on the home fridge, it second placed onto the school's hallway. The different pieces crafted a small mosaic of skill, showcasing those who will either be the next Rembrandt or the up-and-coming Picasso of blocky Minecraft penises. Which I think is kind of praise if you don't think on it too long. Room 113 was my classroom, situated close enough to the bathroom that I could drink coffee with abandon, but also a few doors from the teacher lounge where we'd squirrel away during lunch to vape away from the impressionable eyes. My classroom was clean and tidy because child labor isn't illegal in grade school, and probably a little bit of me taking pride in my work. The desks were arranged in a way that encouraged groups of students to talk and learn together. Before I had a chance to check on Miss Hammy, our student pet hamster, I was drawn to something out of place. On my desk was a small basket with various fruits in it. Red apples, bananas, oranges, and neatly tucked on top, a small envelope with "To Mr. Jeff" written on it. A student? I questioned aloud as I opened the letter. Dear Mr. Jeff, It's me, Cindy. It's been about 14 years since I was in your class, but I happened to be visiting my parents for the holidays, and I thought I'd try to stop by and see you. It looks like I've missed you, though, so I'm writing this letter and leaving you a holiday gift. I got accepted into State University on a full ride, and I'm studying culinary arts. I don't know if you remember, but you always made sure me and my brother had lunches. I hope that one day I can do the same thing. You always apologized to us for not making the best sandwiches, but I thought they were great. Maybe if I get good enough, I can teach you a trick when I'm back in town next. Thanks for caring. Cindy. I sat down on the edge of my desk and laughed for a moment, the kind of laugh that comes from your gut and not your throat. Of course I remembered Cindy. She had been a real pain in the ass. I didn't realize it had already been 14 years since she left my class. And good for her. I hope college is a good fit for her. I took the apple from the basket and took a bite. It was sweet in that perfectly ripe way. She could pick good produce. I thought to myself as I felt warmth slide down my cheek. I stared off into the nothing as I wondered how she was doing. How the kids who have come and gone were doing. How the kids I would see today would also leave, and I'd be left wondering. Insanity, I thought, is teaching the same lessons day after day, year after year, and never knowing what the outcome will be. The school bell chimed, alerting me that within moments the halls would become chaotic mosh pits of gremlins. I pinned the note onto a keepsake corkboard behind my desk and stored the lunch bags in the fridge. I wiped my eyes on my sleeve and took a good, long pull of coffee. The day was starting, and I felt oddly prepared for it for the first time in a long time.